Hello, Gary Champion, Psychic Medium once more with a video I hope that helps. Uh, this one's about, and the title came, Communicating with the Dead. I didn't come up with that title, somebody else did. But in no way are these people dead. It's just a word. I talk to dead people. That was in that movie. And then I noticed there were a lot of websites that went up. So on the front it said, I talk to dead people. Um, they're not dead. Spirits are still alive and still grooving along just like they always were. So to you, they may be dead because you can't see them or shake their hand or go eat lunch with them. But believe me, they're not dead. They're waiting a moment to say something to you. Spiritual communication is often very subtle and not the big aha thing. So I'm going to say with confidence that everybody that lives on this planet has had some kind of communication with a spirit that's passed or someone who's passed or the dead. Um, how to recognize it, that's a key. And I've been doing this a long time. Sometimes I don't realize that it's communication. I think that just my mind is telling me to do something. I end up someplace, and it was all about communication from the other side. It had nothing. I'm looking right now for a new book title, and I don't have one. I got a whole bunch of books I've started. I don't have anything that I'm confident in finishing. So I'm looking for a book title. And as I'm sitting here, someone said, Communicating with the Dead. Maybe that's a new book title. You see how subtle it is. I was wanting to make a video to help you, and in turn, they've given me something to help me. It's a pass it on down thing. If I help you, they help me. Well, a lot of times they help me when I don't help you. But it's been pretty consistent. If I do what I'm supposed to do, then their job is sort of protect me. And believe me, I need protecting from myself mostly. But to be there for me in a spiritual way. Um, so it is a pass it on down theory that I believe works. That they help me help you. They help me help you. And when they help me help you, they help me. Is a certain amount of euphoria that goes with spiritual communication. That if I help you, I get this. I don't know if you've had a healing or been healed in some way by a healer that's really good. There's a lot of tingling, and then there's warmth, and then there's this euphoric feeling that comes over you, and you can't compare it to anything else, really. It's not that, oh, I hit the game-winning ball. It's not that level of satisfaction. It's a lower level and subtle, like I'm saying. It's your communication with those who have passed is often unseen. I know you're feeling it, and I know at some point you're seeing it, but it's subconscious. It's not conscious mind. Now, you hear me talking a lot about the difference between conscious and subconscious mind. All metaphysical things happen in the subconscious mind. They do not happen in the conscious mind. So you have to be relaxed, and relaxing, just a moment of Zen. And I, I do it to my wife all the time. She notices and just waits till I come back, but I actually just kind of disappear. Then I'm not really here. I'm eating a hamburger, and then I just drift off. Very aggravating for her, I'm sure, because she can see I'm not connected in any way to anything. Then I come back and I don't notice it most of the time that I've checked out for 10 seconds and come back. I don't notice it. So now it's doubly, otherwise I'd apologize. I say, I'm sorry I checked out. And she would accept my apology because she always does. But most of the time, I don't know that I've done it. And kind of a disrespectful thing for most people. I mean, you could be talking to somebody really important, and it just doesn't seem to matter. When they want to say something, I just check out. They tell me, it gets stored somewhere to be regurgitated later and used at some point in my life. But it's very subtle. If you and A lot of people feel a sort of a cool feeling. Uh, I feel it on my back. That's where the energy comes for healing. I can feel it kind of building up there. It's kind of a ball of fire or something, and tingling and warmth, and it's like someone's touching me. Most people have felt that, but they just discount it. Oh, their shirt is a little too tight, or someone touched them on the back, or it's not perceived as a communication to another dimension. It's just not seen as that. It's written off. It's amazing to me that most people I talk to, and I ask these questions all the time. Do you see the little shadows at the corner of your eye? That they're moving very quickly. That's a for sure solid number one connection to the other side. And why they're doing it and allowing you to see it, they're different kind of for everybody. Maybe they just want you to know that they're there. Maybe they have something to say and you're not listening. That's a big one. Sort of escalates. I've known families to just say, well, whatever it is, it just keeps getting worse. I used to do a lot of house investigations. I would go to their house and walk through it and tell them who it was in the house that was being so disruptive and why they were doing it. And the results were pretty amazing. And this is normally because you didn't hear me the first time or the second time or the third time or the 40th time you're not listening to me. And they sort of lose patience and they push something over. One case, it was a picture flew off the wall. It's right in front of me, between us, actually. We were sitting and talking, and it just crash, boom, glass broke. And that one was an easy one to figure out because the person in the picture is the person we were talking about. She's long past. See, I could have said dead there, but she's not dead. She's still communicating with her. But whatever her communication, I don't remember, it's been too many years ago. Whatever the communication was, I told her what her great aunt was having some difficulty in wanting to explain something to keep them out of trouble. That's usually what these communications are about. And of course, they can do it when I'm standing there. It's like talking to anybody. If I'm standing there, I hear them very clearly. But the average person can't let go enough. And that's all we're talking about is letting go. Communication with the other side is easily achieved if you can let go. And believe me, that's all meditation is. Meditation is just letting go. And meditation can be fishing on the dock down at the end of the thing, the lake, and you've got a cork and a bobber, and everything just kind of disappears. You worry about everything. It's not a focus on the fishing. It's that the fishing allows you not to focus. It takes that away from you, the power of focusing. And people are always in this building saying, I need to focus on that, I need to focus on that. The truth is, the more you focus, the less communication you have from the other side. It's the opposite of what you think it is. I was talking to someone in the business the other day. We have periodic chats among ourselves, and he's saying, for me, I'm not consciously trying to communicate or heal or whatever it is he was doing. I don't remember. And I'm not assessing. I'm not judging. I'm not focusing. It's just not being there. He just blanks out. And the amazing thing about some mediums is that they can talk while they're blanked out. And he's one of those who can do that. And I'm one that can do it. As I'm talking to you right now, I'm getting words from the other side at the same time. So spiritual communication in a relaxed state can also be accompanied by speech. There's no speech impediment. when I first started, I compared it to learning to play the guitar. And I was going to teach elementary kids. And, I think guitar would be a lot more fun. A little simple, not overbearing, not loud, not just a sort of a subtle background where you can sing whatever it is over that. And when you have to play the guitar for the first time and sing, because elementary kids don't sing by themselves, you have to lead them through. That was very strange. It was very hard to do, and it's a little bit like that. It's like you learn the chords, you learn the fingering positions, and how you're going to play it, finger pick it, or however what you're going to do, and then you put this layer over it of communication. It took me a while to get that down. The strange thing is reading text is something I never really gave it any thought to until somebody asked me to do it one day, and I couldn't do it. I looked at the text, I couldn't figure out any of it. Well, why do I want to read text? That's the modern age. Everybody texts. And you wouldn't believe that a feeling or who you are or the issues you're having would be layered in there, but it always is. And now, YouTube, you guys leave me messages on YouTube all the time, and I do appreciate them. Thank you very much. And ask questions, and I can read those texts. I know what the answer is to your question, even though you haven't asked it. I know that you have a question, and this is the answer to it. So sometimes you'll see just an answer in a YouTube communication there. If you go to watch the video and then make a comment or ask a question, I read virtually 100% of those. And that's a lot of stuff, but it goes along with the job, I think. Plus, it just makes it so much more fun when I can. You're talking about this, but your real issue is your children or something else. But you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about something else. You want to ask a question in this realm. And communications from the other side are often attached or layered in with that text communication you've done. I'm a terrible texter anyway. It's one finger at a time. I just haven't picked that up. But if you're reading a letter someone wrote, then chances are you're going to get some kind of communication from that person, even if they're alive or past. The feelings attach themselves to things. And I was thinking I did a video a number of years ago where I went into a curiosity shop and I picked up a bunch of items and I read who had owned them and what it was about. It's sort of like that. That even though you don't touch it, you can read it, and somewhere in your brain it separates it. It says she's talking about cooking pancakes, but there's something wrong there. Her dog is ill. Her dog's barking a lot, and he's throwing up a lot, and he's doing all these things a lot. So the issue is not pancakes. The issue is the dog. And that is a direct communication to the other side, or communication with the dead, if you will. Because even though I'm talking to her about pancakes, and I love pancakes, can't eat them anymore, but I love pancakes. Technique. What do you put in? You put vanilla in there. What all do you put? The subtext is running through it is about the dog. And someone from the other side has done that on purpose, hoping that I'll pick it up and tell her that her dog needs a new diet. They're clever people. Spirits are clever, and they've had a long time of a subterfuge, really, trying to get you to understand what they're trying to say in a written communique. Or I'm sitting around and I'm talking about something, and they play a record. I always get a lot of music, and the first lyrics of the record are what they really want to talk about. Anyway, I give you some examples, but you may have heard them all before. Anyway, don't ever think you haven't communicated with those who have passed, because everybody has. It's just so subtle with some people. When you have big walls, it takes them a while to get past them. If you have little walls or no walls, they can just walk right through, and you're aware that something has been a communication happen, and probably who did it, um, because you don't have big barriers. You're open. You've opened yourself. So anyway, rambling, talking, rambling man, rambling man. I'm a rambling man. Anyway, just trying to make you aware that sometimes communications are simple, and it's not as easy as saying I haven't had a direct communication with the other side. Look beyond that if you can, especially thoughts that are opposite what you want. You've picked out a car to buy, and you're on the lot, and you're standing around, you're going to test drive it, and all the time you're not feeling good about this car. You don't know why, but and the salesman's yammering about whatever he's selling, and it's got this and it's got hydromatic whatever, and you can't think, you can't, but you do know some. You are unaware that there's something not quite right. Seems to drive fine, and then you discover what it is. Something in the transmission doesn't shift right, or it gets really bad gas mileage, or it won't hold the number of kids you've got, or something will just break through and you say, oh, I can't buy this car. I've got to get another car. Salesmen hate that because they don't know what they've done. They're trying to figure out that they've done something to kill a sale. And it's not that, it's your intuitive instinct that's picked up on the subtle communication from the other side, and they're saying you won't like this car. You need this bigger car because you have all these kids, and you got soccer. You got to get all those kids in there, and this kind of stuff. So um, it's often just a feeling or a knowing, which is the word I like to use. But it's a knowing. You think, what am I doing here? What am I living here for? Why am I married to this person? Why am I not happy? That's a good question. You spend all day on that. Mostly you're not happy because you're not allowing yourself to be happy. You've picked the wrong people in the wrong environment, in the wrong job, and you've done it to yourself. It's mostly self-inflicted. You like to blame somebody else. That guy did it to me, but it's not true. And if they can get you out of that job and into something else, they'll take every opportunity to get you there. You have a friend who's a daycare specialist, and you hang out together and everything, but you've never been by her work. Then she invites you to come by and see the interaction with the kids. You go there and you go, oh man, this is heaven. This is my job. I love this. I'm going to stop what I'm doing and do this. All because for some reason they got her to ask you to come to her daycare one day. It's just as simple as that. It's not very difficult. And she'll say, well, I wonder if Mary wants to come by my daycare, and I'll show her around, see what it is. Even though you've expressed no interest. Something in her makes her feel like you need to know this or would like to hear this. So she'll ask you subtly, hey, why don't you come by sometime, see the kids? And you say yes, and all of a sudden you got a career change. That's not accidental. It's not accidental at all. They got her to ask you a question which led to you going there, which led to you changing careers into something much more satisfying. Now you can smile because you're happy. Happiness is the best state to be in. And I'm there most of the time. Most of the time, I don't feel like I have a right to complain because I have such a nice life. Other people may see it as a horror show, but to me, it's perfect. And that's the only thing you judge it on. How does it feel to you? Okay, I'm rambling. I'm going to say goodbye. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.